The sewers of Gotham were not merely tunnels, they were the city's digestive tract, heavy with the stench of failure and the damp rot of 1,000 broken dreams. The Joker stumbled through the knee-deep sludge, his purple suit ruined, his green hair matted with grime and frozen slush. He was exhausted. Batman's last few strikes had been personal. A cracked rib made every breath feel like a serrated knife was twisting in his chest, but even as he shivered in the sub-zero winter air that bled down from the street grates, a manic grin remained plastered across his face. "Oh, Batsy," he wheezed, his voice echoing off the moss-slicked brick. You really know how to show a guy a good time. A little more pressure and you might have actually made me stop laughing. Almost. He was hungry, thirsty. The madness that usually fueled him was flickering like a dying candle. He needed an exit, a hideout, a sandwich, anything. But the tunnels felt different tonight. They felt longer, more convoluted. Every turn he took seemed to lead him deeper into a throat of stone rather than out to the bay. Then he heard it, a sound that shouldn't exist in the belly of a city. It wasn't his laugh. His was a jagged shard of glass. This was higher, wetter, punctuated by the rhythmic jingle of silver bells. "Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, kiddo," Joker yelled into the gloom, leaning against a damp wall to catch his breath. "But you're a bit flat on the high notes. Come out wherever you are. I don't bite unless you're made of chocolate or a very succulent veal." Joker rounded a corner and stopped dead. Floating in the middle of a massive junction, bobbing gently against the ceiling of the tunnel, was a single vibrant red balloon. It looked impossibly clean, its surface reflecting the dim, sickly light of the sewer lamps. He froze. His mind, a chaotic web of traps and punchlines, immediately went to the dark night. "Really, Bruce? A balloon? What's next, a whoopee cushion filled with fear gas? It's a bit derivative, even for you. You're losing your touch, darling. The brooding in the shadows bit was working, but birthday party gone wrong is my brand." He circled the balloon, his hand reaching into his coat for a jagged piece of glass he'd salvaged from a broken window earlier. He called out again, his voice bouncing off the junctions, but the only response was the steady, rhythmic drip-drop of icy water. Infuriated by the silence and the lack of a theatrical reveal, Joker lunged forward and popped the balloon. Pop! The sound echoed like a gunshot. From the darkness ahead, a voice emerged, not the gravelly baritone of Batman, but something ancient, honey-thick and mocking. "Everything pops down here, Joker. You'll pop too, like a grape or a swollen secret." Out of the shadows stepped a figure that made even the Joker's eyes widen. It was a clown, but draped in silver-white Victorian lace, with glowing orange eyes and a forehead that looked like a cracked porcelain doll. His skin was the color of a week-old corpse, and he smelled of circus grease paint and stagnant pond water. Joker stared for a beat, then doubled over in a fit of genuine hysterical laughter. "Oh, this is rich!" Joker gasped, clutching his bruised ribs. "What are you? The ghost of Christmas past his prime? Did a circus explode in the 1800s and forget to tell your face? You look like you were drawn by a guy who's only had nightmares explained to him by a very depressed toddler." Pennywise tilted his lower lip, quivering with a predatory hunger. "I am the eater of worlds, little jester. I am your every fear made flesh. I am the thing that waits under the bed of your soul." eater of worlds, but you look like you'd have trouble eating a corn dog without getting mustard on that ruff," Joker sneered, stepping closer with a predatory glint in his eye. He was sizing the stranger up, looking for a wallet or a way out. "Look, I'm lost, I'm cranky, and I'm very, very hungry. Give me your map, your lunch, and maybe those shiny pom-poms on your shoes, and I might let you live. I'm feeling generous because we share a passion for face paint." Pennywise didn't blink. He simply smiled, a smile that revealed far too many needle-sharp teeth, and retreated into the darkness, his laughter echoing like 1,000 breaking mirrors. Joker gave chase, his pride stung. "Hey, I wasn't finished mocking your wardrobe. Where's your sense of showmanship?" But as he ran, the tunnels began to warp. The stone walls turned into the cold, clinical tiles of a laboratory. The smell of sewage was replaced by the stinging metallic scent of chemicals, bleach, copper, and acid. "What is this, a trip down memory lane? I didn't authorize a reboot," Joker hissed, though his smile wavered as he looked at his hands. They were pale, but for a second he saw them covered in the blood of a woman he didn't quite remember, or a man he used to be. Suddenly, Pennywise appeared at the end of the hall, holding a small, vibrating chemical vat. "Do you remember the day the world changed, Jack? Or was it Arthur? Or was it just a bad punchline in a book nobody read?" From the shadows, a figure emerged. It was a younger man, weeping, wearing a tattered red hood. He looked at Joker with pleading, desperate eyes. "I had a bad day," the figure whispered, his voice cracking. "We all have bad days. Get a hobby, knit a sweater," Joker screamed, swinging a heavy iron pipe he'd found. He smashed the apparition of the Red Hood, but it dissolved into a cloud of black moths that swarmed his face, biting with tiny human teeth. Pennywise began to circle him in the dark, his voice a rhythmic chant. "You laugh to hide the scream, don't you? You fight the bat because you're afraid that if he looks away, you'll cease to exist. You aren't a chaos bringer. You're just a lonely, broken man in a suit that's 3 sizes too small for his ego. A jester with no king." Images flickered on the wet walls with terrifying clarity. Batman's fist colliding with Joker's jaw. The look of pure, unadulterated pity in Bruce's eyes. The countless times Joker had been sent back to Arkham like a discarded, broken toy. "You're a failure, Joker," Pennywise hissed, his face elongating into a monstrous spider-like maw. "Even your arch-enemy doesn't hate you anymore. He pities you. You're a symptom, not a solution." The Joker stood still. For the first time in years, he wasn't laughing. The cold of the sewer seemed to seep into his very marrow. He looked down at his trembling hands, seeing the ghosts of every victim he'd ever claimed. Pennywise loomed over him, growing taller, his lace ruff expanding like the hood of a cobra. He prepared to strike, his mouth opening wide to reveal the Deadlights, the swirling orange cosmic void of pure madness. He sensed the delicious cold tang of genuine despair. Then, slowly, a giggle bubbled up from Joker's throat. It was a dry, raspy sound at first, then a snort, then a full-on, lung-bursting cackle that drowned out the sound of the sewer's rushing water. You really are a hack!" Joker roared, pointing a trembling finger at the confused entity. "You think that scares me? Being a nothing? Being pitied? Buddy, I've been the punchline of the universe since the day I fell into that soup. I know I'm a joke. That's the whole point. If you're going to use my trauma, at least make it funny. Where's the slapstick?" Joker lunged forward, not with fear, but with a terrifying, nihilistic glee. He didn't care about his past. He didn't care about the pain. "You want to see a real monster?" Joker screamed, jamming a fountain pen filled with concentrated Joker venom, his emergency stash, directly into Pennywise's glowing, lidless eye. "Let's see how the Eater of Worlds handles a dose of pure, unadulterated Gotham giggles." The venom hissed as it entered Pennywise's alien system. The clown thing shrieked, its form flickering violently between a spider, a leper, and a giant bird. It tried to shift into a manifestation of Joker's fear, but it couldn't find anything that Joker hadn't already embraced with a hug. "Stop it! Why aren't you afraid?" Pennywise bellowed, his voice distorted and cracking. "Because, Pennywise," Joker said, pulling out a hidden string of bang flags and wrapping them around the entity's neck, "I'm the guy who ruins the climax. You're a bully with a big forehead, and I'm a guy with nothing to lose but my sanity, and I lost that years ago." Joker pulled a hidden lighter and ignited a concentrated pocket of methane gas he'd been tracking. Boom! The explosion rocked the tunnels, throwing both clowns across the junction. Joker woke up face down in the sludge. His suit was charred, his face was bleeding, and his left eyebrow was missing. But he felt refreshed. He looked around. The Victorian lace was gone. The hallucinations of the chemical plant had evaporated. He realized then that the tunnels hadn't been random. He looked at the walls and saw subtle marks, scratches, and symbols that Pennywise had used to hypnotize him the moment he'd stepped into the dark. The red balloon hadn't been a trap. It was a focal point for a psychic web that had been manipulating his sense of direction. Pennywise was gone, or perhaps just retreated to the deep, dark corners of the earth to nurse a very celestial, very chemically induced headache. Joker stood up, shaking the filth from his hair. He found a rusty ladder leading upward. He climbed it, pushing open a manhole cover with a grunt. He emerged in a quiet, snow-covered alleyway in the Diamond District. The city hummed above him, oblivious to the cosmic battle that had just taken place in its bowels. He looked at his reflection in a frozen puddle, a mess of purple, green, and red. "Well," Joker chuckled, straightening his tattered tie, "I think I've learned something very important today." He looked at the moon and grinned a wide, terrible grin. "I really need to get some better quality balloons. Red is so 1980s. As he walked away into the night, whistling a jaunty tune, a single red balloon drifted out of the sewer grate behind him. It popped instantly in the cold air. "Nice try, kiddo." Joker's voice drifted back from the shadows. "But I already gave at the office. Next time, try a puppet show."